What if I told you the biggest star in women's basketball isn't being celebrated, but actively sabotaged? Think about that for a second. Millions of fans are chanting her name, arenas are selling out, television records are breaking, yet behind the cheers, there's a silence. Not a neutral silence, but one so loud it feels deliberate. Her own teammates, her own league, even some of her peers act as though her success is inconvenient. This isn't just about basketball. This is about power, about jealousy, about what happens when a player becomes so big, so unstoppable, that the very system she's lifting suddenly sees her as a threat instead of a blessing. Behind the highlight reels and the sold-out crowds lies a story almost no media outlet wants to touch. A story of a hidden war being waged against Caitlin Clark. And the most shocking part? The proof isn't buried in rumors or whispers. It's right there in plain sight, in numbers that can't be ignored. For most athletes, a signature shoe is a dream that comes after a decade of dominance. It's a reward, a marker of legacy. But Caitlin Clark achieved that almost instantly. On August 25th, 2025, Nike didn't just sign her. They crowned her. A deal worth $28 million over 8 years, the richest contract in women's basketball history, and a personal logo to match, the interlocked CC, a seal of greatness. That simple mark placed her alongside legends like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Serena Williams, athletes whose names transcend their sport. Think about that. A rookie, barely out of college, elevated into a legacy tier most players spend lifetimes chasing. Fans celebrated. The world cheered. Finally, someone shattered barriers, rewritten the ceiling of what was possible. But while champagne corks popped, headlines screamed, and merchandise flew off shelves, something strange happened back in Indiana. Caitlin's own team, the Indiana Fever, who benefited the most from her superstardom, remained silent. No coordinated posts, no celebratory videos, no social media storm matching the magnitude of the moment. At first, it seemed like a PR misstep, but days turned into weeks and the silence stretched on. Slowly, it became clear this wasn't an accident. This was intentional. A calculated choice to downplay, to withhold, to refuse to fully embrace the generational talent in their locker room. If the silence was the first warning, the court became the battlefield. Every time Caitlin stepped onto the hardwood, it felt different. Basketball for her wasn't just a game anymore. It became a stage for tension, resentment, and intimidation. The extra bump after a whistle, the elbow that lingered too long, the hits that leave bruises but don't make the box score. They were all there. At first, it seemed like rookie treatment. Every newcomer absorbs a few knocks, right? But the numbers told a different story. Caitlin Clark absorbed nearly 70% of all the league's flagrant fouls. Nearly 1 in 5 of the league's hardest hits was aimed at a single rookie. That's not coincidence. That's pattern. That's targeting. And it wasn't just from opponents. Even her teammates, the people supposed to support her, left her isolated, forced to absorb the physical and emotional strain alone. The whispers became undeniable when the All-Star vote arrived. Fans showed up like never before. Nearly 3 million votes, the most in WNBA history, all for Caitlin Clark. The message was clear. She was the league's star. But then came the secret ballot, the vote by her peers. The results? 9th place. Behind players she had outperformed, players she had outscored, and players she had outright embarrassed on the court. This wasn't just a snub, it was an ambush. Legendary commentator Dick Vitale called it out for what it was. Pure jealousy. The very athletes benefiting from her rise, flying private instead of commercial, playing in sold-out arenas, cashing paychecks tied directly to the attention she drew, used their votes like a weapon, attempting to humble her. But Caitlin Clark doesn't fight with words. She doesn't need to. Her revenge came silently, relentlessly on the court. Every game became a statement. She drops 30 points in arenas that never sold out before, drains shots from impossible angles, and leaves the same players who voted against her staring at the scoreboard as the crowd erupts. Merchandise? Every CC logo jersey, every item with her mark sells out within minutes. Fans wear her name across their chests, and those same doubting veterans are forced to watch. Even the league benefits from her rise financially, but Caitlin doesn't rely on them to validate her. Television ratings soar when she plays. Networks fight to broadcast her games. Sponsors line up. Paychecks grow. The very people who tried to hold her back are now riding on her coattails. Her revenge is silent. Devastating, unstoppable, and the Indiana Fever. Eventually, public pressure forced their hand. Gainbridge Fieldhouse became a shrine overnight. Giant banners, free t-shirts for fans, Nike pop-ups, a celebration of their superstar. But the irony was palpable. By then, it wasn't genuine. The world had already celebrated Caitlin Clark without him. They weren't riding the wave. They were scrambling to catch up. Smiles for cameras, applause at press conferences, all while the truth lingered. They hadn't wanted to celebrate her in the first place. But this story isn't just about team silence or peer jealousy. It's about a tectonic shift in the WNBA itself. For decades, the league built itself on parity. No player bigger than the system. No one allowed to outshine the collective. Caitlin Clark doesn't fit into that model. She breaks it. Nike didn't seek permission from the Fever. Didn't wait for league approval. They crowned her themselves, positioning her above team and league. That's what terrifies her peers. Caitlin doesn't need the system. She's already a global icon, a force that can reshape the league on her terms. The All-Star vote, the secret ballot, the snubs, all of it exposed the truth the league never wanted visible. Caitlin emerged as the sympathetic hero, her peers cast as bitter antagonists, and the fear is spreading. If Caitlin can rewrite the rules this fast, what else could crumble under her influence? This rookie season isn't just a debut. It's a hostile takeover. One player rewriting the power dynamics of an entire league, and the story isn't over. Her signature shoe, launching in 2026, promises to be a global event, forcing the league and her peers to confront reality once again. Will the WNBA finally embrace her? Or will jealousy continue eating away at the system, threatening the balance they've relied on for decades? One thing is certain, Caitlin Clark's rise isn't a moment, it's a movement. The league, the players, the fans, they're all along for the ride, whether they like it or not. Every shot she drains, every sellout crowd she draws, every piece of merchandise that disappears in minutes reminds the world of one undeniable truth. They cannot stop her. Attempts to vote her down, to ignore her, to make her a villain have only made her impossible to ignore. Caitlin Clark turned adversity into fuel, silence into opportunity, and jealousy into motivation. She isn't just surviving the system, she's dominating it, reshaping it, defining it. So what happens next? That's the real question. Because if this is only the beginning, if this rookie season is just the opening act, then the WNBA isn't prepared for what Caitlin Clark is about to unleash. The courts, the crowds, the contracts, the endorsements, all are now under her influence. And as the CC logo spreads across arenas and merchandise, one thing becomes crystal clear. The world has already decided who the superstar is. The league may catch up, the veterans may resent, but Caitlin Clark is unstoppable. And whether anyone is ready or not, she's already rewriting the future of women's basketball. But the most intriguing part of Caitlin Clark's rise isn't just the numbers, the merchandise, or the sold-out arenas. It's the ripple effect she's causing behind the scenes. A shift in culture, in power, in perception. Other players, even veterans who once ignored her, are starting to realize that the old rules no longer apply. The rookie who should have been contained, the star who should have been guided by the league's invisible hierarchy, is now the one writing the playbook. Suddenly, rookies across the league are watching her, inspired not just by her stats, but by her audacity, her ability to navigate politics, pressure, and physical intimidation without losing momentum. And it's changing expectations. The next generation of players is learning that superstardom doesn't need permission. That influence doesn't need approval, and then there's the financial earthquake she's causing. Teams once comfortable resting on TV deals and league-wide contracts now have to consider Caitlin's individual impact. Networks fight to broadcast her games, sponsors want her face on campaigns, and merchandise lines fly off shelves faster than any team could anticipate. In a matter of months, Caitlin Clark has rewritten the financial playbook of women's basketball. The league's old methods of maintaining parity, limiting endorsements, controlling narratives, enforcing collective identity are crumbling under her influence. She's not just a player, she's a market force. A walking, scoring, merchandising, ratings-generating juggernaut. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The pressure on her opponents is intensifying. Every veteran who tried to suppress her early in the season is now forced to face her dominance publicly. Every flop, Every late season comment, every passive-aggressive gesture has backfired. Instead of diminishing Caitlyn's image, it has highlighted their own insecurities, making them appear bitter, envious, or even irrelevant in the shadow of her rise. And as the media starts picking up on this, the narrative is clear. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a threat on the court. She's a disruptor of it, reshaping hierarchies, forcing the league to reconsider traditions, and exposing jealousy in ways that were impossible to ignore before. Yet Caitlyn remains calm, despite the immense pressure, the constant spotlight, and the ongoing whispers behind the scenes. She continues to operate like a professional, letting the numbers, the crowds, and the results speak for her. Every highlight reel, every viral clip, every sold-out arena tells a story her critics can't refute. And while the league scrambles to adjust, while her peers whisper and vote behind closed doors, Caitlyn continues her quiet, relentless march forward. She's not just playing basketball, she's teaching a lesson in dominance, strategy, and resilience. The question now isn't whether Caitlyn Clark can dominate, it's whether anyone in the league can keep up. Every pass she makes, every shot she drains, every record she breaks forces everyone else to respond. Coaches adjust, teams strategize, commentators analyze, and yet for every attempt to contain her, Caitlyn only seems to grow stronger. It's as if every act of resistance, every ounce of jealousy, every whisper of doubt fuels her fire, and the most unsettling realization for the league. Caitlyn's influence isn't temporary, it's structural. The WNBA has spent decades shaping a system where no player is bigger than the collective, where stars exist only to serve the league's image. But Caitlyn Clark has proven that a single player can be bigger than the system, and that the system will bend around her, whether it likes it or not. The teams, the league officials, the veteran stars, they all realize it, even if they refuse to admit it publicly. Fans are no longer passive observers. They are participants in Caitlyn's movement. Every jersey purchased, every game streamed, every social media post shared builds momentum that no internal politics can suppress. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a player. She's the epicenter of a cultural shift that is forcing the WNBA to adapt, whether they want to or not. The rookie who was supposed to be molded into the system has instead become the system's game changer. And now, as the next season looms, the stakes are higher than ever. Every shot Caitlyn takes, every endorsement she secures, every arena she fills with cheering fans becomes a message. The rules have changed. The rookie isn't waiting to be recognized. She's demanding to be remembered. And whether the league embraces her or fights her, one thing is clear. Caitlyn Clark's era has already begun, and no one can stop it.